So the theme for Fortnite Season 4 has been teased to be Override. And it's got, on the poster that Epic put out, it's got like all these little glitchy like details on the side. This is important because throughout all of Fortnite's history, the glitches have been kind of just a part of the game. Whether it be you interacting with an NPC or within certain live events that we've had, the glitches are always a representation of a distortion in reality. I was looking at my boy, Mr. JOY, earlier today, and he thinks that the glitches that we're seeing on the teaser and the theme override are going to be reality distorting, but he believes the reality is going to distort to a point where the maps actually might cycle. Because you look at the tagline for override, right? It says break the rules, change the game. Jay is looking at that from the standpoint of like, oh, maybe the game will literally change every few minutes. I like that. I think that there's a good chance that that might be the case. Jay's saying that like there might be a different map. Like we might be able to go to different maps because the 0 point of reality is glitching out because Geno now has control over the 0 point, or he should. We're assuming that he should by the end of the season. But I want to take it a step further, okay? I think it might be the case that not only do we experience a different map, I think Fortnite might actually, for the first time, cycle through some of their old maps. There was a theory that I made years ago. I think this was all the way back in Fortnite Chapter 3, maybe even Chapter 4, where I was saying that there could be some kind of reality distortion where Fortnite cycles through every single one of its previous maps. I, for one, would like to go back and experience the Chapter 2, Season 7 or 8 map. I would like to go back and experience like the OG map a little bit. I want to go and experience the Chapter 3 map and the Chapter 4 map and the Chapter 5 map, so on, right? It would be cool if Fortnite incorporates the map cycle, just like how we have in Reload. It would be cool if they incorporated that into the storytelling of the game, which I could see. That's one possibility, right? But here's the thing. As cool as that is, I think that's the lower level understanding of what override is going to be and what it's implying. I actually think that there's a bigger storyline significance to what override means. The beginning of this chapter, we had, what was it? An image of like a last reality message that came to us where it implied that we were in some kind of simulation. This entire chapter, we've been talking about that. We've been seeing like little hints of things that just don't really add up. Like Hope's vision disappeared and now they come back, and now the visions are the reason why Geno is revealed to be the shapeless man, and that's what Blue is cover. Everything like that we've been experiencing this chapter just feels a little weird to me. And I honestly think that what this season is ultimately going to culminate to or build up to is the reveal of what this simulation exactly is. And what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to override the system. We're trying to, in essence, break out of the matrix. I think at the end of season 4, there's going to be some insane plot twist. I think this is like the last major season we're having this chapter before we have like a mini season. I don't think we're getting to season 5. I think we're going from season 4 to a mini season. I think this is what I think might be the case. I think we're going to have a big live event at the end of season 4. It's going to reveal what the simulation is. Maybe we've been inside of a last reality spaceship for the last 3 or 4 chapters. Who knows? But after we exit the simulation into whatever the real reality is, let's say we're inside the last reality spaceship, that's what the mini season is going to be. Maybe it's a last reality themed map that we have to play and fight on. So we'll have like cubes and the chrome and all that kind of stuff come back. That'd be kind of neat. And at the end of that season, whatever we do there, that's what's going to take us into Chapter 8. That's kind of what I'm theorizing right now. That's kind of what I think I'm building up towards. I think that with what Geno is planning right now, it could be the case too. Hear me out. This was really crazy. It could be the case that Geno is actually trying to override the loop, override the Fortnite game, and get us out of this matrix that we're in to kind of reveal where we're actually at. And that's why he wanted to take control of the 0 point, because he knows that we're inside this loop, inside this matrix, and that's the only way to break us out. And if that's the case, maybe that's why he's been the shapeless man. Actually, maybe that is why he was the shapeless man. Geno figured out that we were inside the loop. Geno figured out that we were inside this matrix, this program, whatever the hell this is. He's been trying to do things to break us out of it since chapter 4, because since Fortnite Fracture, maybe we were all consumed by the chrome and we were all put in the last reality ship. So Geno, because he was the only one that escaped when he fell to the 0 point, he realized he's the one that broke into the simulation, is trying to break everybody out, and this is why he was it's going into people's dreams, being the shapeless man, and ultimately that's why he's trying to take control of the 0 point to break everyone out of the simulation. He's trying to override or overload the system. That would actually be really dope if that ended up being the case. And that would actually cover up a lot of these plot holes and all the frustrations we've had with the story. Kind of a little bit like what Team Genesis did for their live event and all that. But yeah, I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think about that there. I think that is pretty solid. I think that could work. But we'll see. So yeah, that would make Geno the good guy. That would actually make him the good guy the entire time. That would be dope if I could see that being the case, chat. It's more like a good motivation, but wrong. But see, here's the thing, Dark Yat. If we are in a simulation, it's not wrong methods, because nothing in this world is real. We all thought it was real, right? But Geno knew it wasn't and tried to break us out. And he's the only one that understands, because he's the one he's been outside of the loop the whole time. It makes sense. That story could work. That could genuinely work, bro. Okay. My reference from Pixels. Persona fan. All right. Let me jump back on the game. I don't know. Just had to think that one out, man. But I think that would save Geno's character, and also make the last reality a bigger threat too. But that would be interesting that we were inside of a simulation ever since Fracture. That's the thing. Chapter 3 had some very pivotal storytelling moments, right? You have Geno and the Imagine. Oh, maybe that's why the Imagine was saying, "Find me," because she's also trying to break us out of the loop. Oh, see, Aaron's on the same page as me. Would also explain the "find me" voice to an extent. Yeah, it would. It absolutely would. See, bro, Aaron's so smart, man. Aaron be naked. We're on the same page. So your insights, bro, keep going. Geno is the singularity in it all. Yeah, in a way, yeah, it is. But that's the thing. That would be a very cool plot twist. I could see that being the case. That might be where the storyline is going, bro. I like that. That's cool. Trying to break us out like kind of like Midas Loop Breaker Project. Because remember too, in Fracture, there might be some weight to that. You know what? Even in chapter 4, there was little signs of that being the case, right? Like, what was I just thinking of? We had to start Zero Fusion to restabilize the 0 point, right? But like,
what if the ZP reformed Geno and not himself?
So Aaron, thank you for the $2. That was a theory we had a while ago too. We had a theory that the 0 point actually saved Geno, because he needed him to protect him from the last reality. Because that's the thing, the 0 point is that would explain so much if that was the case, chat. That would explain why everything was so fucking weird in chapter 5, like why we went back in time to OG, why there's 2-0, why permanent OG as a mode exists, like that. Oh shit, that would actually explain permanent OG very well. It's all one big simulation. The Dark Void, but then how does the Dark Voyager fit into that? Is the Dark Voyager like a program created by Geno? And then why try to kill Jonesy and be the... So that's... I kind of see what you're saying. Like, that's where he's got a good motivation, but he's doing the wrong methods. Because instead of... What the... What did you drop? Oh. It explains the 0 point shadow in the reality never... Exactly. Yes, that does explain that. It explains so much. All the weirdness... It's a very... It's a very, like, overly used plot point, but at the same time, it works. It does work. The Dark Voyager could be a virus made to pull the plans within the... That could be the case. That could absolutely be the case. It could also explain why Dr. Sloan said she felt something familiar coming back to the island. It would explain why so much time has passed in the Fortnite universe, but... It's actually only been 8 years. That simulated, like it says, total simulated time, right? What if Geno shot Jones and they'd eventually get the sprite powers and join the 7? That, like, once again, Geno is the one that he does manipulate the... See, but you know what? Hold on. Let's go back to what that person in the Discord said earlier about the shapeless man thing. And also, what I was confused as to why Geno would reveal himself to be the shapeless man in Hope's dreams, because he wouldn't, right? Geno wouldn't go out of his way to do that. But if it is the case that the Nothing was actually LARPing as the shapeless man this time, like Geno was the original shapeless man, but the Nothing's LARPing as the shapeless man this time around, right? The reason for that is because he's trying to get Geno out of the simulation because Geno's fucking up too much stuff. So he's trying to use the 7 to get rid of Geno to push him out. That makes complete sense. That would oh my god, that would make so much sense. The chat, I'm telling you, none of this is gonna happen, and we're gonna be so disappointed because this is just a way better story. I'm sorry. This is just so much better. But if we're in the simulation after the Chrome, wouldn't that make Hope not real since we met her later on? Not necessarily. No. That doesn't mean that Hope's not real. It just means that she's another victim of the simulation. Well, that's the, that would also explain why there's just so many random Fortnite characters that pop up and then they disappear for a while, because they're being pulled in and out of whatever current simulation that we're in. That's the point. Like, you know how, like, Midas was gone forever? Like, Midas in the spirit world, and now he's back. That's why. It's also why the cubes share the same energy as the, holy shit, this makes so much sense. It's also why the cubes, the red cube shares the same energy as Pandora's box. Because it's two similar types of code working to... Also, the cubes to... Oh, shit. The cubes to me have always felt like code, right? Like the cube runes. When you look at the cube runes, it looks like coding. Bro, I shot this motherfucker 6 times, and he's still up, by the way. Remember we talked about the missing members in Limbo in the Chrome? Vaguely. That would have been a long time ago we talked about that. It's kind of like the same thing. Yeah, it would be kind of like the same thing. Aiden the Pony. What's up, Doc? Like your Fortnite YouTube videos? They're awesome. We're kind of recording one right now. Aiden, welcome. Hey, can you see this? Yeah, hide away. I can't see this. Yeah. I can't see you, brother. Reality reboots. Yes. That's another thing. The tagline reality reboots. That's so huge. Bro, chat, yo. I'm telling you. That would fix so much. Percy, what was your question, bro? I didn't even see it. The 0 point trying to remember OG and it can't exactly nail it, which is why the events are slightly different. Honestly, it's not even that the 0 point's trying to remember OG. It's more so like Geno's trying to replicate OG, right? Like Geno's trying to recreate OG. But why? See, that's the other thing. Why is he trying to? What's the purpose of having 2 islands that you can go back and forth between? Wait, hang on. What did Percy say? I'm genuinely curious. What are we doing in the simulation? Curious. Are the one-time Fortnite villains like Fletcher Kane, Kato Thor, EDZ part of the simulation? Like as distraction? That's actually a good theory too. Or this, why? Well, so here's the thing. There's actually 2 components when it comes to that. Let's look at a different villain like the Cube Queen, for example. How she's always talking about all your efforts are in vain, only nothing will remain, right? We always viewed it as time travel. But if it's the case that like the last reality is in control of this entire, like a literal game, like a Matrix type simulation, every villain that we fought would be like a different program, and it would be done for the purpose of hold on, let's take it a step even further. Ariana Grande concert or the Fortnite remix finale, right? Every time we have a musical event, the last reality uses it to kind of like monitor our minds, right? The last reality is invading our mind. Why? Here's another thing. Revin the Cube, or sorry, not Revin, Blevin. Blevin the Cube responded different when a human touched it. Almost like we rewrote its programming. So what if it's the case that the last reality needs us and has put us in the simulation because in order to control the 0 point, it needs like human thought or human mind in order to kind of manipulate things or to kind of to really control the 0 point. Like it needs enough collective human knowledge or human memories or something to be able to manipulate the 0 point to its ends. That is, we may have just cracked the code of the Fortnite storyline, bro. We may. I think I might need to clip this off of Twitch and then just upload it tomorrow as a video. So what was Chapter 2 Remix about? The whole season was music theme? Was that so that theme, I think the point of that was to scan our minds for more information, for more data on the 0 point or to collect that whatever. Like that's the thing. That's the part that I don't understand is why does the nothing or the last reality need humans? And the only thing I can think of is there's something unique about human beings or prisoners of this loop that give us unique access to the 0 point in a way that he can't. That also explains why the nothing would be able to talk to us through things like TVs. This explains a lot of shit, bro. A lot of the weird storyline quirks. This ties up a lot of loose ends. In some ways it almost feels cheap because it's an overused trope, like, oh yeah, it was a dream the whole time. But it works. For Fortnite, it works. Yeah, I don't know, chat. This one, he can only talk through technology, and it's because like the nothing has always had limitations, but humans don't. Like, why hasn't the nothing ever popped up in a physical form? Honestly, it's kind of like what Team Genesis did with their storyline, right? Like that was a simulation too. They obviously took it in a different route, but they were onto something similar. Like they had similar ideas even before the revelation of the Fortnite like storyline being all one giant simulation. What if the nothing is a game developer in the simulation? It was Donald Mustard. Donald Mustard is the nothing confirmed, chat. Chapter 1 end event. What about the Chapter 1 end event, Afro? What about it? Talk to me. Wait till I get out. Someone else. Okay, all right, bro. Fresh Clear, what are you doing, though? What if the event was a way to turn off the TV? So it did. See, here's the thing. It didn't turn. Holy shit! Hold on, Afro. To your point, it wasn't to turn off the TV. It was to reset the TV, right? And remember, after we reset the TV, we had a lot of control for a while up until shit. Listen, it was all about. Oh my God, it was all about the Imagined Order and the Imagined Order's control. The Imagined Order had control over everything up until about Chapter 2, Season 7. Right? When the last reality invaded, but the last reality was only able to invade because the 0 point was fractured. So that's the thing. When the 0 point gets messed with, it hurt. Oh my God. When the 0 point gets messed with, it hurts the simulation. It's always been the case. When the 0 point is tampered with, when it's damaged, when it's thrown into a black hole, when it's split across the omniverse, right? It always messes with the simulation, which is why Geno needs to gain control over it again to restabilize the simulation. But if you want to even take it a step further, even Midas was aware of this, which is why he had the Loop Breaker project, because Midas was trying to break the simulation. And he almost did it. But the problem is Midas was reckless. And instead of it actually breaking us out, it started to attract the attention of the last reality. It stressed the 0 point too much. And the reason why Midas knows that we're in a simulation to begin with is because he has ties to the Imagined Order. He was there watching a young Dr. Sloan, and he's probably Geno's brother. Holy shit, it all clicks. It all clicks. It actually all clicks. That makes so much sense. It's not, listen, the Nothing's not a virus, right? It's not that he's, like, don't take it too literally, but he interacts with the world like a virus. Midas Loki, the return. Bro, Midas is like the, no, actually, no. I was gonna say Midas is like the William Afton of Fortnite, but no, that's actually Geno. You need to upload this whole thing as a video tomorrow, dude. This actually is insane. I need to rewatch the full thing. Yeah, no, this, we're actually cooking here. This actually makes sense. Bro, this is all, this is all off the cuff, bro. We're cooking. We're cooking. Hold on. That's the thing, like, we've known about the simulation thing, but we kind of put it in the back of our minds, right? Like, we kind of set it off to the side because there wasn't really much to go off of. But now, it makes sense that this is what everything is being built up to right now. Geno is, wait, hold on a second. Dom made a good point on TikTok. Geno is using OG to create another black hole because he's trying to reset the TV. Holy shit, Dom. Holy cook. That's what, that makes sense. That goes to Afro's point. That's what the point of OG is. Oh, that's why you can have multiple 0 points, because it's just different parts of the program. But they're trying to reset the game. Holy hell, that makes so much sense. No Kendrick, but yes, trying to turn the TV off. We're all honestly, listen. Can we just have fun? Can we just like cook and have fun though? But like bro, it makes sense. It makes complete sense. It makes so much sense if it goes this way. Bro. So when the last reality told us that the science, like the members of the Seven that got captured by the Chrome, right, that their existence was being sculpted anew. Their program, basically, their existence inside of the program is being rewritten, which makes me think none of them are actually dead. No one in Fortnite that's the thing, no one in Fortnite really dies. Oh, wait, hold on a second. That means the theory we had about Jonesy and Save the World also mean that he was one of the... So, oh my God, Afro, you're on the same page as me. So, I think... So here's the other thing. We need to tie this into Save the World, because Save the World arguably could be the beginning of the simulation. This is a weird fight. So I'm trying to think about Save the World significance and how Save the World plays a role in this, because Save the World does have, especially now, right? The Dark Voyager wanted to save the world for a reason. What? So what's the purpose of Save the World then? Is Save the World the actual world? Because that's the thing. When you die and Save the World, you don't dematerial. Like, you're actually dead. There are no reboot bands in Save the World, right? It does have a storm, but it doesn't work the same. It's like
a booby trap that actually catches.
But then, hang on a second. But here's the problem with that. If Save the World is not a part of the simulation, then why can the Dark Voyager, who's a program, travel freely between OG and Save the World? Save the World would have to be inside the simulation too. It can't be the real world. But that might have been the first program. That might have been where the program started. Maybe, you know what? Maybe the Nothing is just like a rogue computer AI, actually. Do you die from res and Save the World? Is that how that works? I don't play Save the World, so I don't know, bro. But yeah, that explains why, like, certain people can time travel and shit, but, like, that's the thing. So if this is the case, right, if the whole thing is a simulation, which, listen, here's the thing about that too, right? That's what that text was implying. When it says simulated time, right? Like, it showed the simulated time. Hello. I'm gonna die here. I don't even care that I'm dead. It's fine. I'm thinking. Hold on a second. So here's the thing. When we had that, hold on. Let me pull up that loading screen real quick. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. What did that loading screen say? Let me see some chat. I have it saved. Let's go to this. So, training run complete. Total elapsed time in base reality. Okay? So this is the actual time. 8 years, 9 weeks, 3 days, 9 hours, 30 minutes. Total simulated time across all iterations. So all iterations, so this is that insane amount of years. This line right here, total, if it's simulated time, this is actual time, this is simulated time. If this isn't some kind of Matrix program that we've been playing, because at this time this came out, this was the exact amount of time that Fortnite existed, okay? If this was the case, that this was not a simulation, why would you make a distinction between these two different forms of time? This is real time, okay? But this is the simulated time. Learning phase complete, decommission error protocol, Dark Presence, once again, so I think that was Aaron's point, or no, maybe Percy's, no, it was Percy's point. All the villains and everything that we face are distractions that we have to, or different programs that we're having to come across in the simulation. Dark Presence was a program that was glitched. Decommissioning and not, also, the Dark Presence was confused. It said, like, why are you here or something when the red cube popped up. That's because now it appears that Geno is in control of OG, right? If Geno's the one in control of OG, Geno's the one that made the Chaos Cubes, Geno's the one that made the red cubes, right? The Dark Voyager was the, how do I say this? Not the Dark Voyager. The Shapeless Man of the Dark Voyager. What the fuck was I just said the villain's name. Chat. What is it? Holy crap. Anyway, the villain from the last live event we had at the end of last chapter, I cannot think right now. But the reason why that villain, Dark Presence. The reason why the Dark Presence was confused is because he's actually working with the Nothing, or working for the last reality. And the program is supposed to do one thing and go one way. But Geno's program came in and helped out. And, oh my God, the Geno's program, that being the red cube, came in and gave us an assist, which is why the Dark Presence was confused when we killed it. That makes so much god dang sense. Decommissioning anomaly, containment protocol in cube runes. So this looks like, hold on, different, like, foreign virus, foreign agent coming into our program, that being Geno and the cubes. We need a contingency. We have a containment protocol for this. We need to remove this virus or this foreign program out of our system, right? Beginning phase 2, executing program, more cube rooms. My point here is that this whole thing, the entire game of Fortnite from day one, from Save the World all the way to Battle Royale to present day, that has been one big simulation. The whole thing was one big simulation, and Geno knew it. That's why the Imagined Order was formed. That's exactly why the Imagined Order was formed. And so when you're hearing, that's the other thing too. You're hearing the voice in the 0 point yelling, run, run, and then find me. Those are other people stuck inside, like put off to the side inside of the program, inside of the Matrix, that are trying to get out. They're in some kind of purgatory. That's what the fucking in-between is. That's what the in-between is. That's the thing. There are gaps in the program that the Nothing and the Last Reality can't control. Geno knows that, which is why he was able. That also explains why nobody dies. That explains why everybody's freaking immortal inside of Fortnite. That explains why people live for hundreds of years, bro. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense, bro. The vault, yes, the vaulted weapons, all of that, yes, bro, yes, absolutely. Bro. Chat, hold on a sec. We might. Hang on, if you tell me to look at DMs, hold on. Everybody trying to message me right now. I have another meta effed up theory. What if our real world is the real world of Fortnite and the Nothing was a rogue AI? That's what I was implying earlier. That the Nothing was. I did loop back to that. The Nothing is kind of an AI that is holding people inside of this. Yes. The Nothing was a rogue AI and took over, and most of the people in Fortnite was from our world stuck in this simulation. The first example is Drift once he got taken from IRL into the game. Yeah, that does make complete sense, Evro. That's a fantastic point. Drift would be a person that's stuck in the simulate. But see, so here's the thing. Here's the other thing too. So it might be a rogue AI from our world, right? But the 0 point is also real, because the reason why Drift came to the Fortnite universe was because of the 0 point. The 0 point is not a program. I do believe the 0 point is genuinely the source of all creation, but I think for a program this complex, I think the 0 point is what's powering it, is what's running it, which is why anytime we mess with it, the program gets altered, the program is restructured, the program is in jeopardy of being deleted. Oh my God. That this, like, it explains everything, chat. Every aspect of the story makes sense if you look at it through this lens. Chat, y'all cook, man. Y'all cook. Come to find out, Tim Sweeney's been the Nothing all along. Tim Sweeney's the Nothing. Shortened theory. There are multiple simulations. The Voyager is some sort of antivirus that can travel to all simulations to make sure nothing is wrong or any bugs. Nothing can be a sort of cheater or virus. That is how it gave Bytes the Chrome, because it has a sort of command pad. OG Remix Chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, and onwards are all active simulations, maybe, and then the red cube is a hash slash glitch. No. Everything from all the way from Save the World, Fortnite's inception, to modern day is a simulation. That's what this is saying here. Total elapsed time in base reality. Base reality would mean our world. It has to, because this was the exact amount of time that had passed since Fortnite's conception. Total simulated time across all iterations is the time that's carried out in the Fortnite universe. It's been, when you do the math, it's like a few million or billion years or something inside of it. It's some insane number, right? But that's the point. That's why, like, Jonesy, for example, is talking about how he's lived for 400 years. Or 600 years, I think, inside the Zero War comics. That's because it's all simulated. It's all simulated time. In Save the World, the first cutscene has us put on a VR headset and lets us control Ramirez. Interesting. There's a book, too, and Fortnite makes a new game. I'm crashing out. They probably will. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you want to recap? All right. I'm probably not going to go over every single detail of this, but this is the conclusion I think I've come to. All right. The entirety of the Fortnite storyline is one big ass simulation. Everything. It's been one big simulation. Some kind of computer program. The way people enter the computer program is through the 0 point. I think the 0 point is a real thing. I like the idea of the nothing being a computer virus, but I also, in some ways, I feel like that cheapens it a little bit. But in the context of this story that we're crafting, it makes sense. We went from like a really crazy, like ethereal fantasy, like sci-fi kind of universe, to now it's more of it's still sci-fi, but now it's more of like a tech-based kind of a sci-fi story. But just imagine Fortnite from its inception 8 years ago, or 9 years ago at this point, right? Starting from Save the World all the way to every Fortnite season and chapter that we've ever had. All of Fortnite as a game, as a concept, is one big simulation. People enter the simulation to the 0 point because the 0 point is the source of it. It's the source of all creation. Or in this game, it's what powers the simulation. It's what's powering the game. It's what's powering this universe. Every time you mess with the 0 point, you damage it, you damage the energy source of the game, it causes a glitch in the system, which is why every chapter, when we've had some kind of 0 point shattering event, the game shuts down. It's like turning the TV off. Geno, all the way back when he was a young man, how he was talking about how he built things from the ground up with his bare hands, or whatever the quote was from the recent voice lines. Geno was the first one to figure out that this was a simulation. He was the first one to figure it out. And what he did slowly was he learned how to escape the simulation over time. He eventually creates the imagined order, but over time a rival group is formed, that being the Seven, because they don't understand the ins and outs. Like, Geno can't explain the ins and outs of this to everybody. I think maybe Sloan had some kind of idea. Midas for sure did, which is why Midas tried to break us out of the loop. That's why he created the it wasn't the loop. That wasn't the loop breaker project. He created the device. He and Jules created the device to push the storm back because they were trying to break us out of the simulation. It didn't work. And what happened was it damaged the 0 point, which is why the Imagined Order really didn't want anybody messing with it, because these things have to be handled with care. You can't, you have to, if you're going to manipulate the 0 point, you have to do it in a certain way, which Geno knew because he spent time studying it. Meanwhile, the Nothing, which is potentially a rogue computer virus, basically, how do I say this? The Nothing creates a rogue faction called the Last Reality. The Last Reality is the army that was designed to go up against Geno. But Geno's program that he creates with all these other people trapped inside this Matrix program, which is the Imagined Order, they were too strong and they held the 0 point for 1,000 years of in-game time or in-simulation time. Up until the point where the Nothing, because the Nothing has a better perspective or better control over the program than Geno does, the Nothing basically made it to where he manipulated the Seven to weaken the Imagined Order so he could gain access to the source of the simulation, which is the 0 point. All the other events from all the other chapters moving forward kind of play out, but it's basically this constant battle of the Nothing trying to gain control of the simulation. Let's fast forward to chapter 7. Chapter 7, Geno is now trying to regain control of the 0 point because he understands that that's the source to controlling the simulation and ultimately to breaking everybody free. This also explains why Geno was able to become the Shapeless Man. Geno could become the Shapeless Man after falling through the source of the simulation, falling through the 0 point, because I guess falling, that's the thing. Falling through the 0 point gives you, if you survive it, it gives you a better understanding of the simulation. Geno used his powers or his knowledge of the simulation to kind of invade people's dreams or to basically access different parts of the program to basically interfere with other people's programming, other programs inside the game or other people locked away inside the game. He can manipulate the source code. This is why he's able to enter people's dreams. The reason now other players or other people inside of the game have unique abilities that allow them to see things that happen inside of the game, like Hope, like Bunker Jonesy. All of these different people, for some reason, we don't know why, but for some reason, naturally, they have the ability to kind of see inside the source code in a unique way, which is what allows them to kind of see the future or to see things that are coming or coming up or to have certain visions. But all this makes sense. Finally, I guess, so when it comes to the most recent reveal of like Hope so I'll put it this way. Everybody thought it was odd that Hope got her visions back when Geno popped up. If Geno was the Shapeless Man, from the context of how we viewed him before, mustache-twirling villain that's trying to manipulate everything, right? It wouldn't make sense for him to give her visions back. It could be the case, though, that Geno gave Hope her visions back on purpose to try to help him out in the future. But what happened was the Nothing LARPed, in essence, as the Shapeless Man, infiltrated Hope's dreams, and pretended to be Geno, or gave the Shapeless Man Geno's voice to kind of blow his cover. So the time that Hope sees the Shapeless Man inside of the dreams, it's not actually Geno, it's actually the Nothing trying to put her onto the fact that Geno is in their midst, because the Nothing knows that the Seven are at odds with Geno. He's basically trying to create more chaos so they can't restabilize the program. The Nothing wants the program to get wiped out. And that's why that's also why the Nothing's always trying to get to the 0 point. Fuck it! Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. That's just a Fortnite storyline in a nutshell. That's it, chat. That's how it works. I'm probably wrong. Okay, I'm probably wrong, but I'm telling you, I feel like on some level, bro, there's some truth to this. I really do. The only thing that I feel like is kind of throwing a wrench in the system with this is that, like, Ben Starr, the voice of Geno, was saying that he's a villain that's going to be around for a while. So Geno could still be a dick. Like, he could still be like an anti-hero, right? Like, he might want to create his own perfect simulation for himself, his own world of perfect order, right? But yeah. I honestly think we figured it out. I think we got something. I think this makes complete sense. The whole thing is one big simulation. The Nothing is a rogue program. Geno was the first one to figure out it was all a simulation. And so he's trying to restabilize the 0 point to take control of the simulation, to fight off the Nothing. That explains why he's the Shapeless Man and has the ability to do that. Because he has a better understanding of the simulation. He has a better understanding of how to manipulate the simulation. That makes sense. That does also explain why Geno pivoted so hard. It does. But I guess it doesn't explain why. The problem with this is, though, I feel like that ignores a lot of in-universe context. Like, why would Geno, if all this is true, why would Geno want to LARP as the last reality? Why would he want to send Amy to the last reality? Why would he be tied to the last reality so heavily? If he was the shapeless man, right? Oh yeah, that was the other thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, OG is Geno reattempting to recreate a distortion in reality or in the programming by manipulating the 0 point. This also explains why there's more than one 0 point, because if it's a program, you could just control C, just copy that shit. There's of course holes in this theory, chat, but I think there's a lot of credibility with this. I do. I think there's a lot of potential with a theory like this. That's what's terrifying, though. I don't know if it was Quala's point or who brought this up earlier, but someone was like, "So wait, is Hope?" So it begs the question: who is a program and who's real? Like, what if Hope's just an AI? What if Hope is just an extension of the program? Also, is it the case that the 0 point is creating programs too? Is Hope a creation of the 0? Well, they did say that Hope was the key to everything, right? So what if Hope is she, like, Jonesy's for example, Jonesy's a real person, but Hope isn't. So like, what if, like, let's say at the end of Fortnite, when everybody's released from the simulation, right? You see certain people dematerializing because they're going back into the real world, but Hope can't because she's not real. That would actually be crazy, because Hope was the key to everything. That would be bittersweet for Jones. But then again, maybe Jonesy's real family exists out in the real world.